Hello, I'm Brian, and I am the Theoretical Gamer, and this is the first real segment I'm going to be doing. It's in which I share my thoughts on gaming with you in what will probably turn out to be a long and pointless ramble. Um, I think that in gaming, you have a lot of people who will try to categorize different types of games, like rules light versus rules heavy. You've got like you know, and if you've ever read Zach Smith's blog, Playing D with Porn Stars, he came up with another variation on that, those fat versus skinny games. Whereas fat games are games like those early editions of D&D where instead, it doesn't just say you can cast, it gives you lots and lots and lots of lists of spells and abilities, and like third edition comes up with lots and lots of lists of feats. So fat games are great for that because they're like shopping lists. I've come up with another way of categorizing, which I call what you can do versus how you can do it. How you can do it is what a lot of the more complex games try to do. Like D&D 4th edition to me is the ultimate expression of how you can do it. You have boards, you have miniatures, you have rules upon rules upon rules. I want to do this. Okay, you can have this and this. You can roll this and get this modifier. Okay, I want to flank. Okay, you got this here, this here. You can do it. It's ultimately how you can do it. You go back, but the other version is what can you do? It doesn't, and how you do it is really just left by the wayside. Let me give you an example. I have a weak spot. It's my guilty pleasure. Not just Rifts, Palladium games in general. I played them a long time ago, liked them, had fun. Basically, the rules are, if you ask anyone, even Palladium diehard fans will tell you that the rules are a mess. They are a hodgepodge. They are not a system at all. They are a random conglomeration of, well, do we need a rule for this? Boom. We need a rule for that? Boom. They're not meant to go together. They're not meant to be elegant or pretty. They're meant to be just sort of, how do I get this done? So, and of course, like for decades now, everyone's been hammering at Palladium and their fearless leader, Kevin Simbita, and saying, Simbita, we need you to rehaul the rules. We need them to be better and make more sense. And he just doesn't even answer the question. He just keeps doing what he does. And it remains popular because he creates awesome worlds and awesome games and awesome ideas. But I think here is what I think. This is what I've heard. And I think this is Kevin Simbita's greatest flaw, is that he is too good a game master. Everything I've heard about him is that people who go to his games and sit down and play Rifts or the Palladium fantasy game or whatever he's running have a great time because he's an awesome game master from what I've heard. I would like to get into one of his games. It would be cool. And why is that a flaw? Simple. A person who is a really, really good game master, who creates a really good story and gets people sucked into the story, doesn't need a perfect rule system. You get something like 4th edition, it's practically a board game. In fact, that rules system actually inspired a series of board games that, from what I've gathered, they didn't need to change much in order to do it. You have, but you get to, so really, like I said, the rules are a mess, and it takes hours to make a character, because character generation is all about what your guy can do. Okay, you roll your basic stats. Okay, you go to skills. There's pages upon pages of skills. Very fat game in Zach Smith terminology. Then, okay, are you a spellcaster? Okay, you've got 15 levels of spells, and you can go shopping for all your different spells. You've got psionics. Okay, you've got categories of healing psionics, physical psionics, sensitive psionics, super psionics, all kinds of that. And so you sit down at the game and you know all these awesome things that your guy can do, and you're ready to do them. And then if there's a question that comes up that says, okay, we need to do this and that and this, and the game master just says, okay, makes a decision, goes on. The game is designed to give you a character that can do a whole lot and then let you do it. And it doesn't need to give you an endlessly detailed system on how to do it. The game master can throw those details out there, as long as he lets you do what your character is able to do. Then, years ago, a man named Eric Wujcik worked for Palladium Games. And from what I heard, he was also an awesome game master. Anyway, he went off on his own, founded Phage Press, and created Amber, the Amber Diceless role-playing game. Now, for those of y'all who don't know, yes, I said y'all. I live in North Carolina. Shut up. For those of y'all who don't know, it is a role-playing game, completely diceless, completely no random factors whatsoever, based off of Roger Zelazny's excellent series of novels, the Amber Chronicles. Read them. It really is not a subjective opinion. They are good. Now, basically, but for those of you who don't know, the idea is Amber is the one real world, and every other universe, including our own, is just a shadow of Amber, and there are infinite shadows. And if you're a member of the royal family of Amber, you can gain the ability to walk through shadow and go to any universe you want. And you're immortal, and you're also like 10 times stronger, faster, smarter, cooler than any of those shadow people. So after a while, you come to realize that the only people who can challenge you are your own family, and the only place worth having is Amber. There's a bit more to it, but like there's this other pole on the other end of Shadow called the Courts of Chaos, and it's also real, and they also have their own means of getting around through Shadow, and you can play people from there. And in the first 5 books of Amber, there's this war between Amber and Chaos, and then later on it becomes this whole staring at each other from across, Shadow frenemy thing. But to get back to the system of Amber, there isn't one. There really isn't. To me, it's kind of the spiritual successor of Palladium in that it basically flat out says the rules don't matter. The character sheet is just it's not a fat game like Palladium. The powers are very broad, and you can write them down on a short list. My character has this power, this power, this power. He has this cool thing. He has this ability. And this game is all about what your character can do. And the game master decides how he's able to do it, because there really is no rules. There's no randomized system to back it up. And I've played it, and it works if you have a good game master. And it boils down to that. If you have a good game master, the rule system doesn't matter. Which is why I think rule systems tend to evolve towards like you're very much how can you do it, very crunchy, very detailed, very tight systems, because I think on some level people are paranoid and have been burned by one too many bad game masters, and they think that if they can find that one system that is perfect, then it will shield them from all bad game mastery. And they finally, again, not to hack on 4th edition, a lot of people play it and a lot of people have fun, but it really seems to be, well, you know what? We don't actually, it seems they've made board games out of it. You practically don't need a game master. And it seems like on some level it was done to protect against bad game masters. Where which, you know, I'm probably wrong. I'm probably wrong. But you have that's just my opinion. That's my long, rambling, circuitous little theory about games that are designed to tell what your character can do versus how your character can do it. Obviously, most games have some of both. But problem with these kind of videos is I don't really know how to end them. I basically say what I need to say, and I don't really have a wrap up. I'm gonna have to learn to do that. Anyways, that's what I've had to say, and leave your comments. I would love to hear your opinions on this. And well, thank you very much. Get back to me.